Holy Bible miracles. How natural explanations could prove the Bible was right. This is what an expert reveals. The Bible miracles, once thought to be impossible acts of God, could have natural explanations, as a scripture expert has astonishingly claimed. The Bible tells us of miracles, many of them seemingly impossible events from before and after the birth of Jesus Christ. They're recorded in the Old and New Testaments, and they speak at length about the acts of God, such as Jesus walking on Lake Tiberias, the water there, or raising, of course, the resurrection of the dead. And though Christians accept these as proof of Jesus' divinity and the might of God, there are some biblical events that may have not defied the laws of physics after all. This is according to a professor, Tom Meyer, who is a public speaker and college professor at Shasta Bible College in the U.S. There are two miracles that stand out to him. He says there are some miraculous phenomena according to the recorded in the scripture that defy natural explanation, like Jesus walking on water, recorded in Matthew 14:22, Jesus feeding 5,000 men with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, Matthew 14:13. And he says, but there are instances where a natural explanation can clarify miraculous phenomena, such as the flow of the Jordan River being cut off upstream at flood stage so that the children of Israel could pass over on dry land, recorded in Joshua 3:13, and such as the sun and moon standing still so the nation of Israel had time to defeat its enemies in a surprise attack, recorded in Joshua 10:13. In the case of the first miracle, the Bible describes the waters of the Jordan River standing still for Joshua and the Israelites to pass. Remember, as the Levites were standing in the Jordan River holding the Ark of the Covenant, as long as they were in there while the tribes of Israel passed over, the waters did not flow. And once all the tribes of Israel passed and the Levites carried the Ark of the Covenant onto the other side of the Jordan, that's when the Jordan River started to flow again, normally. Now, Professor Meyer believes an answer to the impossible can be found in historic accounts of 13th, 12th centuries explorers to the Holy Land. In 1266 AD, a massive earthquake struck near the fords of Adam, which is only 16 miles northeast of Jericho. The earthquake triggered landslides that blocked up the Jordan River. Professor Meyer said similar historic instances of earthquakes caused mudslides, which subsequently stemmed the flow of the Jordan River as well. They occurred in 1906 and again in 1927, he says. The Israelites with Joshua probably numbered in the millions. Numbers 26:51 could have had crossed the dry riverbed of the Jordan River and entered Canaan in half a day. The second miracle described in the book of Joshua describes the sun and the moon standing still in the sky. This is where, again, recorded in the book of Joshua of the Old Testament. The Israelites came upon an enemy camp upon which Joshua prayed to God. And Professor Meyer says Joshua prayed that the sun and the moon would stay in place. It was a poetical way of asking God that their surprise attack on the 5 kings of the Amorites would not be revealed by the rising sun. And Joshua asked that darkness would continue throughout the day, that the night would be prolonged for Israel's surprise attack. The Hebrews would translate the sun and moon standing still, meaning to be silent or cease or leave off. Another way of saying it is the sun made no haste to come about a whole day. Professor Meyer said the moon and the earth did not stop orbiting the sun. Instead, he suggested the celestial bodies were obscured from view by a freak weather event. He said, contrary to the popular belief of many Christians, the earth and moon did not cease rotating around the sun. The answer to Joshua's prayer for continued darkness came in the form of a hailstorm, which had the effect of prolonged darkness, according to Joshua 10:11. And whatever the case may be, Professor Meyer agreed these possible natural explanations do not disprove the power of God. He said this interpretation of miraculous phenomena can provide a natural explanation of what happened. To accept that explanation does not detract in any way from the supernatural event intervention which God provided for Israel at the exact moment that they needed it. Professor Meyer, who is known as the Bible memory man, has memorized more than 20 books from the Holy Bible. This is from Express UK by Sebastian Ketley. Now, for those of us who have been witnesses to miracles, there are no explanations. It is God's hand intervening in a way beyond physics, beyond the laws of physics. And that is God's proof that He is near us, watching us and protecting us. And many of us hearing this have been witnesses to that. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.